Leigh Lench-Smith is a licensed massage therapist whose 24 years of practice inspired a trailblazing solution to alleviate body discomfort. Julie Thompson visited with Leigh at her home.
I am so pleased to be joined here today in her home with Leigh Lench-Smith. Leigh is a fascinating woman, over 60, who we're going to find out a lot about today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Who is Leigh Lench-Smith and how did you get to where you are right now?
I ended up leaving Nantucket after 10 years of being there and came home to Duxbury with a 12-year-old and wasn't sure what direction I was going to go in.
Okay.
And during a very early morning quiet moment, sitting at a beach, I actually looked up and said, "What should I do now?" I did hear a voice, and it said massage therapy.
And you had never thought of massage therapy?
I had never thought of massage therapy, although I, in my younger years, really wanted to be a nurse like my mom.
Okay.
But I never chose that route, and here I was thinking that's the closest thing to medicine. So I went to school at a holistic health and massage therapy school, made it my job, graduated, and opened my first little studio right here in Duxbury at like 250 square feet.
Now, massage therapy wasn't as popular as it is now then, correct?
It definitely was finding its way more, that it is a form of actually creating better health.
Yeah.
So I wanted my practice to be a little bit different than working for somebody who would want me to rush through an appointment. I wanted to get to know my client, to find out what was happening with that person to whatever degree they chose to tell me.
Okay.
Because chronic pain usually comes from a chronic thought, something that's going on in your life. And if they choose to speak about it, they've already started their healing right there in our first conversation, not even before, just before they even get on the table. Massage therapy reduces and releases toxin in your body. So if you're releasing those two things, you're a much healthier individual. You're allowing somebody to take care of you, to be nurtured. And there's so many people who are not.
Yeah, and need this.
And they need it. And besides being therapeutic in nature, my true specialty is anything prenatal, the pregnant population.
So talk about that, because that has to be a specialty too,
It is.
right? I mean, you not anyone can just manipulate a pregnant person,
No.
correct? You need to know
Correct.
what you're doing. So talk to me about what that involves.
So when I was in school, we were asked to choose a specialty, and they gave us a list of what the specialties were. I knew immediately I wanted it to be prenatal,
Okay.
because I really wish that I had had it when I, many years ago, was pregnant.
Yeah.
And so in order to take the courses in prenatal massage at school, you first had to take Eastern philosophy, because every point in your body correlates to an organ. And in prenatal massage, you cannot be overstimulating a point that correlates to cervix or uterus.
Right, because that could cause a problem.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
You also have to know when not to work with a woman, or what is going on with them. So you do fill out a form before I touch you. You have to be over 12 weeks pregnant. And I take them all the way through to the end, and developed a natural induction massage.
I was just gonna say, are you there during childbirth? Can you be there?
I am a doula.
Wow.
So I am a trained doula, but I am not a birth doula at the moment, because I wouldn't want to leave you on the table.
Right.
Because the phone rang. But it was a good way to go to just add another layer to my education.
Yeah.
So I see you all the way to the end, and girls don't want to take drugs now
Right.
to induce labor. all these months you've been told not to eat sushi or cold cuts.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you're given a drug to speed up your labor. So the induction massage, I've seen you monthly. And at the end, when things start moving,
On their own, yeah.
then I do this massage, and quite often it's 1 to 4 24-hour periods.
And you specialize in prenatal, but you also have come up with a product that has led to you forming a company and getting a patent. Talk about what led to that moment.
All these years I've been working, predominantly on women. And one day, one of my clients was ready to turn over on the table. And before she went down all the way, she said, "I hate laying on my breasts." And I just said, "Oh my gosh, this has been right in front of me all these years.
Right.
And I need to do something about this."
So?
And so I created a pad that is not a pillow, and it conforms to any size, shape, or density. It is great for women laying on their chests,
Right.
whether it is on a massage table, chiropractic table, whether it's on a yoga mat.
Yep.
It is great on a chaise lounge. And I just started working it out. And I just kept thinking, what is it that would make women comfortable? And all the pieces started to formulate. And then one day I had a foot surgery and I had to be off my feet for 2 weeks. And taking me down for 2 weeks and being calm and quiet and, not being able to be on my feet doing massage, I created my entire business in those 2 weeks in my bed.
Good for you.
And so I patented my product and trademarked the name and developed the product, found a great factory in Fall River, and everything is made in the USA and Massachusetts.
So this product that you created, you started with a single use, really, for women who were lying on their stomachs and it was not comfortable. And then you saw a million different iterations of this, or they were brought to your attention. So now, how far has this come? How this Featherstone pillow, which is what you call it, has now become what?
It's the Featherstone's Comfort Pad.
Comfort Pad.
That is the patent and the trademark.
Yep.
And I actually have had my clients, my customers, telling me what they were using it for. So orthopedically, before and after a surgery, placed down a spine, a scoliosis, any kind of spinal, when people have pronounced spines.
Right.
Lumbar, people are using them in their cars, driving,
Yep.
sleeping with them. And anytime you have a pregnant woman who's nursing, who is a woman who's had her baby, who is nursing, who is a stomach sleeper, they now can use that. So the yoga studio for kneeling, for any posture, it's great under your hands. But what has now become the biggest, I had no idea, I never saw this coming, ever. But one of my clients is an MRI tech, and she found it to be the best prop to use for the patients in an MRI machine.
Your MRI tech said, let's use this. They used it, it worked. And now they're asking you for other iterations of this for the MRI machine. For example.
For example, I went in for a meeting to bring them some pads, and the head of the MRI department said, I have a couple other things I'd love for you to make. And I was like, okay. And one thing was a really simple block, a 3x5 block. And I said, but you have them. And she said, but they're not made out of your materials. She said, what you are using is what is allowing so much comfort for our patients. So The blocks are in production.
That's great.
She's been using samples that I brought her.
Yeah.
When I brought her those, she then said, I have a third product. And so that pad, which is more of a rectangle, not as big as the comfort pad, that's in production right now.
You must feel though, this all, your invention kind of went with how you have lived your life. It's all about providing relief, providing comfort, making people feel better. So how wonderful that an offshoot of what you love to do anyway became a business. I mean,
Another
right?
business, I know it, and people do say that to me.
So all of this started with you loving massage therapy. So I'd love to go downstairs and see where you actually make this magic happen for people.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go.
So I'm a client and you've brought me down to the studio. Why don't you walk me through what we would go through?
When I work on women who are not pregnant,
Yeah.
this is the table.
Yeah.
And what you're also laying on, besides comfy fleece,
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is comfortable.
is
yeah.
an FDA-approved medical device for healing. It is called a biomat.
Oh.
And it has
It's warm.
coils. It's very warm.
Oh my goodness.
Or it can be cooler,
Yeah.
depending on your, whatever you want.
Yeah.
A lot of people want it really hot.
Okay.
But if you've had a joint replacement, then we don't go hot.
Right.
Because this far infrared heat, which was developed by NASA, goes 6 inches into your body for healing. Whether you have a physical pain and emotional pain, if you just want to get centered
Yeah.
and you lay on this pad, that's what it does for you. And it's lined with amethyst crystals.
And what are those?
An amethyst crystal comes in many forms, and as you know, this is
That's
like what it looks like.
Beautiful.
This
yeah.
is very good for opening up intuitiveness,
Okay.
spirituality.
Okay.
You're laying on it.
Oh, okay. So you
Right.
get the
So,
heat and you get
so
the
we're
crystal.
we're increasing that in you. Now, if you are here and you are pregnant, this will not be on the table because it's not used for pregnancy.
Right. That makes sense.
But underneath this are is the strap that's going to hold in your baby.
Yeah.
This plug right here is going to come out of the table.
So your pregnant belly goes under there.
Exactly.
how comfortable.
And this strap adjusts to the comfort of you and the baby. We want the baby to be comfortable. We want you to be comfortable. And then, of course, we have
Yeah, for your chest.
the comfort pad for your chest comfort, which was the original idea. So that's what we do when you're pregnant. This is what you do when you're not pregnant. And then
So does the heat, let me just ask you, does the heat
Sure.
help you when you're massaging someone's muscles? If they're warm, does it make it easier to massage them?
it can. If somebody has a really, really tight muscle,
Yeah.
then yes, it definitely can.
Okay.
But what it does is it just puts you down.
Okay.
It is
levels you.
It is amazing
Okay.
how quickly my client will just say, "Oh my gosh," okay,
Okay.
and kind of surrender.
Okay.
And
what you need.
right,
Yeah.
people like to talk during their massage, and I don't discourage it.
Yep.
If that's something they're here to do, because maybe they don't have anybody to talk to,
Right.
but maybe they just have something that really needs to be gone into. I mean, it's their massage, it's their time, and they do it with it what they want. We start face up, and at one point your eyes will be covered, and then when we're through front of body, you turn over and we continue, and when we're done, I leave the room again.
Yeah.
So I want you to feel like you're safe and you're secure, and nobody's going to be coming in, and nobody's going to be knocking on a door.
Yeah.
And then we just say goodbye when you come up, when you finally get upstairs.
Well, I can't thank you enough for sharing your story, for sharing your home, for sharing your passion, and sharing chapter 2. And with you, there's going to be a chapter 3 and a chapter 4. No doubt.
I'll keep you tuned in.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Julie.
it.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yep.
To learn more about Leigh, visit featherstonesinc.com.
If you've enjoyed this video by The Local Scene, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching.